The moment Billboard Brazil revealed its year-end verdict, the global K-pop fandom erupted. Jin had just claimed one of the most prestigious international recognitions of his solo career. His emotionally charged single, Don't Say You Love Me, was crowned the best song by a K-pop male solo act of 2025, a title that instantly reaffirmed the BTS members' growing stature as a standalone powerhouse on the world stage. Released as the title track of Jin's second mini-album, Echo, Don't Say You Love Me struck a nerve with listeners far beyond South Korea. The song blends restrained pop-rock textures with aching vulnerability, anchored by Jin's warm, resonant vocal tone, and a chorus that feels both intimate and cinematic. From its first week, the track generated strong streaming numbers across platforms and steadily built momentum in Latin America, where K-pop's fanbase has expanded rapidly over the past decade. Billboard Brazil's recognition reflects not only chart performance but also cultural impact, signaling that Jin's artistry resonated deeply with audiences in one of music's most passionate markets. Critics praised the song for its lyrical honesty and mature emotional palette, noting how Jin leaned into subtle storytelling rather than spectacle. The narrative of love restrained and words left unsaid mirrored the reflective atmosphere of Echo, an album many fans interpreted as a new chapter in his solo evolution. Where earlier releases highlighted his ballad strengths, Don't Say You Love Me showcased a more nuanced, genre-blending approach, positioning him alongside global pop soloists rather than limiting him to the K-pop label alone. For Jin, the accolade adds another milestone to a year already filled with career-defining moments. Following the success of Echo, he appeared in major international media interviews, topped multiple regional charts, and saw his music trend repeatedly across social platforms. Billboard Brazil's decision effectively places him at the center of the 2025 K-pop solo conversation, underlining how BTS members continue to thrive individually while maintaining their collective legacy. Fans, armies across continents, celebrated the news with trending hashtags, congratulatory messages, and streaming parties that pushed the song back up daily charts. In Brazil especially, local fan bases highlighted how meaningful it felt to see a regional branch of Billboard elevate a Korean artist to such prominence, interpreting it as proof of K-pop's increasingly borderless influence. Industry watchers also see the award as symbolic of a broader shift. As K-pop artists pursue more globalized promotional strategies, recognitions from international Billboard affiliates carry growing weight, shaping narratives beyond the US market alone. Jin's win illustrates how a well-crafted song paired with an established global fandom and emotional authenticity can dominate conversations across languages and cultures. With Don't Say You Love Me now officially stamped as 2025's top K-pop male solo song by Billboard Brazil, Jin enters the new year carrying not just trophies, but momentum, the kind that hints at even bigger stages ahead. Whether through future albums, collaborations, or tours, the singer has made one thing clear: his solo journey is no side project, but a global force in its own right. Looking ahead, the Billboard Brazil honor is widely expected to strengthen Jin's international positioning even further, particularly in Latin America, a region where Korean acts have increasingly held sold-out shows and chart-topping releases. Industry analysts suggest that accolades from regional Billboard branches often translate into broader radio exposure, playlist placements, and invitations to major music festivals, opening new doors for artists seeking deeper connections with local audiences. For Jin, whose solo identity has steadily crystallized since his military discharge, the timing of the award feels especially significant, arriving just as fans speculate about the next phase of his career. Behind the scenes, collaborators on Echo have spoken in interviews about Jin's growing involvement in creative direction, from vocal arrangements to the emotional tone of the project. Producers reportedly tailored the instrumentation of Don't Say You Love Me to emphasize space and restraint, allowing his voice to carry the emotional weight rather than relying on heavy layering or dramatic drops. That artistic choice appears to have paid off, resonating with both critics and listeners who praised the song's sincerity and timeless quality. The recognition also reignites conversations about BTS's broader post-hiatus trajectory. As each member continues to carve out a distinctive musical identity, JIN's Billboard Brazil win becomes another data point in a larger narrative that the group's individual projects are not merely extensions of their fame, but fully realized careers capable of standing on their own merits in competitive global markets. Observers note that such achievements ultimately feed back into BTS's collective brand, heightening anticipation for future group activities while celebrating the diversity of their solo outputs. Fans, meanwhile, have begun speculating about what this momentum could lead to next. Online communities are buzzing with hopes of an expanded world tour, special stages at international award shows, or even collaborations with Western and Latin pop artists inspired by the song's reception in Brazil. While no official announcements have been made, the surge of attention surrounding Don't Say You Love Me has undoubtedly placed JIN under a brighter spotlight heading into the coming year. As the music industry becomes ever more interconnected, moments like this underline how far K-pop's reach has extended and how artists like JIN are shaping that evolution in real time. From Seoul to Sao Paulo, the emotional echo of a single song has traveled across oceans, turning personal storytelling into global recognition. And with Billboard Brazil's stamp of approval now part of his record, JIN's next move is being watched more closely than ever.
The ripple effect of the award has also begun to show in renewed chart activity for both the single and the Echo mini-album, with fans organizing coordinated streaming events and digital purchases to celebrate the milestone. Social media platforms filled with clips of live performances, lyric breakdown threads, and fan-made edits that reframed Don't Say You Love Me as one of the defining K-pop solo releases of the decade so far. In Brazil, local fan communities highlighted the song on radio request campaigns and cultural pages, helping to introduce JIN's work to casual listeners who may not yet have followed his solo catalog closely. Music commentators in Latin American outlets have pointed out how the song's universal theme, the tension between love and restraint, likely contributed to its cross-cultural appeal. Rather than leaning heavily on trend-driven production, Don't Say You Love Me opts for an understated emotional core, allowing listeners from different backgrounds to project their own experiences onto the narrative. That quality, critics argue, is what often separates a popular track from one that achieves lasting recognition. From a business perspective, Billboard Brazil's distinction further strengthens JIN's marketability as a solo artist for endorsements, brand partnerships, and international campaigns. Analysts note that regional awards can play a crucial role in shaping sponsorship opportunities, especially in territories where artists are looking to expand visibility. With JIN already known for his polished image and warm public persona, the timing of the accolade could not be better, as global brands continue to seek K-pop figures with proven worldwide resonance. Within HYB and the wider Korean music industry, the news has reportedly been met with pride, serving as another example of how strategic global distribution and localized promotion can elevate Korean releases far beyond their original markets. Executives and producers alike have increasingly emphasized the importance of tailoring outreach to specific regions, and JIN's recognition in Brazil stands as a textbook case of how that approach can pay off. Ultimately, the story of Don't Say You Love Me being crowned Billboard Brazil's best K-pop male solo song of 2025 is not just about a trophy or a title. It is about momentum, connection, and the steady rewriting of what global success looks like in modern pop music. As JIN continues to build his solo legacy, fans and industry insiders alike are watching closely, convinced that this latest honor may only be the beginning of an even bigger international chapter yet to unfold. The conversation now turning around Jin's achievement has also sparked broader discussions about how regional Billboard editions are shaping new centers of influence in the global music ecosystem. Once viewed mainly as reflections of US trends, these international branches have grown into powerful tastemakers in their own right, spotlighting artists who resonate deeply within specific cultural markets. In that sense, Billboard Brazil's endorsement does more than celebrate one song. It signals how Latin America continues to emerge as a critical arena for K-pop's next phase of expansion, with JIN positioned squarely at its center. Longtime fans have been quick to contextualize the award within JIN's personal artistic journey. From his early days as BTS's silver voice, known for emotional ballads, to a soloist willing to experiment with textures, tempo, and narrative restraint, Don't Say You Love Me is being framed as proof of his creative maturation. Many see the track as emblematic of an artist growing more confident in understatement, trusting silence, melody, and subtle phrasing to do the emotional heavy lifting, rather than relying on explosive climaxes. Online, the celebratory mood continues to swell. Fan projects marking the recognition have popped up across multiple countries, including digital billboards, charity drives in JIN's name, and coordinated campaigns to introduce the song to new listeners. The award has effectively become a rallying point for ARMIs, who frame it not just as a personal victory for JIN, but as a collective moment for a fandom that has followed his evolution for more than a decade. Meanwhile, industry insiders suggest that moments like this often influence long-term strategic planning. Increased interest from Latin American media could prompt more localized promotions, subtitled content, or even future tour routing that places Brazilian cities higher on the priority list. Though no schedules have been confirmed, the speculation itself underscores how much attention JIN now commands outside traditional East Asian and North American markets. As 2026 unfolds, the recognition from Billboard Brazil sits as both a capstone on a triumphant year and a launching pad into whatever comes next. Whether through fresh music, surprise collaborations, or major international stages, JIN appears to be entering a phase defined by confidence and global curiosity. The story that began with one quietly aching song has now widened into a narrative about reach, reinvention, and an artist whose voice continues to travel farther than ever before.